Hello everyone, my name is Christina Roberts and I am a director with Red Strategies, and this is my lovely colleague Tracy Shaw, principal with Red Strategies, and welcome to our series on stewardship. Today we're going to be diving into more about why the data tells us that stewardship is so important. So essentially, data has always told us that, industry-wide, donor retention hovers around 45% or so, which means 55% of organizations don't recoup their donors from the year prior, and I think that speaks volumes, right? And excuse me,
it hurts my heart.
It hurts her heart, right? And that's exactly what I was getting to. This is the data queen, everyone.
Yes, y'all know I love some data, right? And check out all of our other videos. I think that I'm in. I'm always talking about some data, so it's really important for you all to know. We're going to talk about some, like Christina mentioned, there's some industry data, but we also are probably going to encourage you to think about your own data and knowing what your retention rates are. But that's right. Yeah. Industry-wide, nonprofits retain about 45% of their donors. So that means over half of the people who give don't come back the following year. And when asked, donors who could have given again, when asked why they don't give, there's a couple of reasons that they get. The top two reasons are really around communications and donor experience. The first one is that they had some sort of poor customer service experience or some sort of communication kerfuffle, I'm gonna call it. So there was something in the nature of the relationship of the communication that the donor either didn't feel like they were communicated with and or had a bad experience, which is also not what we want. Secondarily, a little bit, the other thing that they say at the top of that list is that they were actually never thanked. So that's a different type of communication problem. They were never thanked by a phone call or an email, or I'm also making some assumption this means that maybe they never got an acknowledgement letter or even a tax receipt. So there seems like there's some operational things that are going on across the industry where donors are not getting thanked. So those are the two main reasons why donors don't come back. They have poor communications or had a bad experience, and that they weren't ever thanked. Some other reasons why they give when surveyed include they don't actually remember that they gave. Again, some communication issues. So you ask me like, hey, give again. They're like, wait, what? I gave to you? So the relationship building is not happening from the organization. Some of the other they also say that they're not clear on how the funds are used. Again, communication piece. And then finally, the clarity of what the organization does, it's not clear to them, like what's happening with their gift, not just with their gift, but what the mission of the organization is. So a lot of that is rooted in communication issues.
Absolutely. So. And also imagine like your top donor is receiving, for that year in particular, is receiving, just an acknowledgement letter.
Yeah.
That's not enough, right?
Not enough.
So another point here is that, we're also seeing that data suggests that American households are actually giving less than what they did even just 20 years ago, which is actually when they started collecting that type of data. So 20 years ago, nearly 65% of households were philanthropic and they were actually giving, and now it's only about less than 50%. So, but what's interesting with that, is people are still giving and organizations are still reaching like record numbers.
But less of them. If you think about, because this data is really, there's some nuance to it. I'm glad that you brought it up because when you think about, they track the data by household. So every little house that's giving is like they're associating them as like one group, and so now less than half of the households in the country are giving. A lot of that has to do with the political climate. We believe there's some diversity, equity, and inclusion in just communities that can give, that are the marginalized communities that are impacted most by things like the recession, by the pandemic, by other things that are happening with the racial and social reckoning that's happening in our country. Households are less and less able to give philanthropically because you give philanthropically out of your disposable income. And when that goes down for whatever reason, then you're not able to give. And so grateful that people continue, the households that are giving at greater amounts, but then it just speaks to the disparity that's happening. So organizations that want to include their entire communities in giving have to think about reducing all the obstacles for giving to the communities that they want to involve. and bring into their community of donors and supporters. And that includes looking at your gift array on your website. Does it start at $5? Does it start at $50? The communication that every gift counts, the calls to donors of all levels. So it's really, and then are you stewarding? Is that gift of $5 just as meaningful to your organization as that of $50 and $500? So there's a lot that you can do in the stewardship world to encourage your entire community to come out and give.
Absolutely. So, what would you say is the key to stewardship?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that if you're going to look at donor retention, you really need to meet your donors where they are. You have to make sure they're connected to your mission. They need to understand within the first pass or paragraph of either the first pass of your website or the first pass of that acknowledgement letter, understand what you do and how their giving and donation is going to make an impact in the work that you're striving to. People give to people.
Absolutely.
Like that, we say that a lot, and I think it sounds like a broken record here at Thread, but people give to people. Yeah. And if you are able to communicate person to person and share person to person, that's really where your stewardship that retention rate is going to take some really big wheels up. You got to remember that these are folks that have invested and have thought and kind of made that decision with their heart. You have compelled them to give. They're invested in what you do. And so treat them with some love and tenderness.
Absolutely. And there's also so many unique stewardship benefits that that donors might even receive from your organization, and they just look forward to that. And that could be the thing. And it could be something small and, intangible even, but people want to feel appreciated for
that connection.
All that they're doing.
Super important.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. I love talking about data, Christina.
Absolutely.
So feel free to go back and watch our other videos that have some data in them. And this series on stewardship, hopefully you've checked out all of those. And we invite you, if you like what you hear, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope that the content we provide is really helpful and actionable for nonprofits and fundraising professionals. Also, if you have a question or you want to talk more about stewardship with Thread Strategies, you can find us at hello@threadstrategies.com, or you can visit our website at threadstrategies.com as well. But we hope to see you or hear from you, and we're just grateful for your time and attention today. And happy fundraising.
Happy fundraising.